This is the three-decker, rather large period ship of the 30-year period, which 1712 comes about the middle. It had its genesis in a drawing I did, which most people claimed was quite good, but I sort of looked at my rigging and said I don't know enough about rigging, so I decided to build a boat to prove it. It started Preston, 1972, and it took 10 years to build. All in all, I think there were about 20,000 hours used, or it used 20,000 hours to build it. I was in work at the time, driving lorries all over the place, and an awful lot of spare time went into it. Basically 7'6" by 7'6" by about 3'6" across the main yard. Rather hefty thing, weighs about 100 weight and a half, I estimate, with the stand. Very heavy. Detailed in and out, all decks have cannon, apart from the third deck up. The rigging was quite a problem, finding out exactly, but I came in possession of a small book initially by map publications at the time, which gave rather quite sparse drawings, but enough to get going on it. Finding out about a three-decker, the layout and everything, I think I know enough about the three-decker as such now. A three-decker, by the way, means a complete three-deck running throughout the hull. That is from, it has additional decks on top, but these are not counted in the rating of the ship. This particular three-decker is a 100-gunner first rate, and first rate was denoted by the 90 to 100 guns, I believe, at the time. Various other rates of lesser guns were classed as fifth rate, fourth rate, etc., down to a lower, the sloop, which had 10, I think, or something like that. The rigging, as I say, was difficult to master, as there were 5 different thicknesses of cord, I think, or cordage, and left-hand threads and a left-hand weave and all sorts, and 4-strand stuff, which is called hawser, and various other things. All this had to be found out, of course, and incorporated in the thing. It's quite a glamorous thing to look at, and it has its quite a magnificent vessel. It could be said to be 30 years in advance of Nelson's Victory, the same type of ship, but the Victory would, I think, have been about 20 foot longer, but still a three-decker as such, the Victory. This was the colours of the Victory when it was launched, in actual fact, in 1759, I believe, as was the generally accepted colours of the Navy at the time. That is a blue top straight, if you like, on the polished wood or the stained one, a varnished centre, with the black above the waterline, and the tallow and saltpetre and whitening underneath, not white paint. This ship features the last of the gilt or the gingerbread. That is the fancy wreaths and the decorated stern. After this date, or about 1720, the Navy decided it was costing far too much to incorporate all this, when all the gilt works could be shattered at one broadside, and it cost as much as a deck full of guns to do, so even economics played a part in those days. The figurehead is somewhat contentious because English boats usually had the lion, as did Dutch boats, I believe, but the twin-finned Britannia-like figures on the as the figurehead makes somewhat of a change than the usual. I've since learned that this was favoured by the French, but of course I would think. The rigging again was something of a problem to me. I did them I did the shrouds on the main, or one side, perfectly straight across. Very mathematical and very concise, very precise. And I looked at it again and I thought, my God, it looks too far too mathematical, and put the knife right through it. I then put the rat lines in, that is the ladders, if you like, across the shrouds, and put them in with some degree of sag. I was then rather pleased with it, which the actual boat has. I don't like these straight across rat line jobs. It follows closely, in fact any three-decker after this will be very similar. Improvements of course were incorporated after long voyages, and this one of course can be dated, apart from the plaque on the stern, by the small mast at the front, which dated it at 1720, when the Admiralty decided that the spritsail topmast had to be disposed of, and the longer bowsprit incorporated à la Victory. Also, this still incorporates the lateen mast, which one can see here. The lateen spar, that is a triangular sail on the mizzen mast. This, of course, was replaced by the spanker on the Victory, which carried about the same sail area, but dispensed with the bit forward of the mast and made it more manoeuvrable. So, as I said, it could feature as the last of the big ships, with gold on it to any extent. They went to this form of colour, and then at about 10 or 20 years after Nelson's Victory was launched, they reverted to the black and white stripes, which one is so familiar with, or the black and yellow stripes, as Victory as it was at Trafalgar, which is now in Portsmouth Dock. This to me was far more colourful and much more impressive. The lanterns, of course, were the last of the large lanterns too. Even lanterns are becoming more efficient, and a sort of paraffin might have been found at those which was superior to whale oil and stuff to burn in and make better lights. So there were improvements incorporated as the ships progressed, although by present day standards progress was very slow indeed. The name Elizabeth was chosen as the age in which it was constructed, that is the present age, and the stern is sort of commensurate with what would have been, and with all the gold, the gilt gingerbread, call it what you will. All looks very regal and royal, and the whole thing is suitably impressive, I would think.